哎呀，亮哥哥，午安啊，你好。我要干嘛？车厢。小玉安，对啊，上车喽，各位乘客，让我们一起前往大人的世界。我今天中午去把，因为我现在就是马铃薯，有时候都会把它先蒸好，然后包好放在冷冻库，先去把冷冻库的马铃薯就蒸一蒸，然后撒上胡椒盐，然后跟那个
I hope we will be leaving soon.
加上 cheese， 然后去烤，再去烤。嗨，阿 K 安，进去买午餐。好啊，今天吃什么？帮我顺便买一份。这是 lemon juice 吗？因为它要坏掉，是不是要帮它修？
I should go and interview the passengers.
我想帮你修。
I should.
好了。我那天看这个总共有13张，13
The
张。
passengers who agreed to come and talk to you are assembled. Well, Mr. Masterman is already here to answer your questions.
Perfect. Thank you, my friend. Sit down, Monsieur Masterman, please.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Does the name Cassetti mean anything to you?
Cassetti.
No. Should it?
Have you heard of the Armstrong kidnapping case?
Of course. It was all over the news a few years ago.
Your employer's real name
早餐
is
是
Cassetti.
锅烧意面比较
He
沙
was the
茶。
man behind that kidnapping.
Oh my god！
Mr. Ratchet was... He murdered that poor
阿
little
K，
girl?
你完全吃的跟我是同样，
Mr.
就是我们
McQueen,
吃的是
the
一模
man
一样。
you worked for is a kidnapper named Cassetti.
What? What kidnapping?
He murdered his victim, a child named Daisy Armstrong.
The Armstrong kidnapping?
You had no idea of Monsieur Ratchet's real name?
Damn skunk.
Why are you so upset?
My father was the district attorney who handled the case, Mr. Poirot. I saw Mrs. Armstrong more than once. She was a lovely woman, so gentle and heartbroken. If ever a man deserved
艾瑞安，要上车，要上车，
or
赶快上车，
Cassetti is
车
the
要开
man.
喽。
He didn't deserve
Susan.
to live.
Madame Olson, have you heard of the Daisy
没
Armstrong case?
错，
No, I've never heard of it.
It was only 2 years ago. It was famous.
Maybe so, but it was not famous in Spain, where I have been helping the refugees from Africa.
You've never heard the name Daisy Armstrong?
No, never.
Daisy Armstrong? No.
No.
No. No.
Yes. It was all over the English tabloids before I went to Jordan. A horrific crime that claimed the lives of an entire family and their wrongfully accused nanny. That's right, isn't it?
Quite so.
I thought the culprit had been punished.
Some might say that the culprit was punished last night.
Oh, my heavens.
May I ask you a few more questions?
Yes, of course.
住在美国约旦。
You read about the crime, as you said, in the tabloids.
Yes, that's right. For weeks, news of the royal family was eclipsed.
Have you ever been to the United States, mademoiselle?
No, never. Jordan was really my first trip abroad.
就
You were in Jordan?
Yes, I was an English tutor there to the children of a high official. Until recently.
What is your relationship to Captain Arbuthnot?
Who?
A former soldier traveling with us. You must have met him.
Ah, yes, I met him on the platform in Istanbul. We only had a brief exchange of pleasantries, nothing more. British Reserve and all that.
你的耳环在人家
The
人
British
家房间呢。
Yes, with this I am familiar. That does not
啊
prove，she
不是
died.
吧？
Are you sure everything you have told me is accurate, Mademoiselle Debenham?
Of course.
你的耳环哦。
Mademoiselle, I know that you met Captain Arbuthnot at the Tocatlion Hotel.
You were spying on me.
I am very attentive to my surroundings. It helps in my profession.
Well, it's your word against mine.
I had occasion to be of some assistance in recovering Captain Arbuthnot's train ticket. While searching his room, I also discovered one of your earrings. Whatever your relationship may be to the good captain, I doubt it has anything to do with British Reserve. You will not tell me your secret, mademoiselle?
I can't. I don't know what you mean.
Poirot, Miss Debenham's got nothing to do with this business. Nothing. You hear?
这样，你要打我？
Archie, stop.
Captain, no! This behavior is unworthy of an officer and a gentleman.
Leave her alone. Have you no honor?
Archie, we should go.
Captain Arbuthnot, I am
对啊
certain you are a
怎么可以这样
brave
随便
soldier,
动手？
but you are a poor actor. The
哦，
truth is that
为什么阿布斯诺上尉？爱左左，晨晨说，我以为只有南部的早餐店才有锅烧意面。对啊，阿 K 南部人，居然有台看，差点要去睡觉了。对啊，不讲武的。耳环跟耳机一样，不小心掉到人家房间都很合理吧？没有，耳机也不会掉到人家房间。为什么？因为是
your relationship with Miss Debenham is beyond
Debenham.
doubt, Captain. Your reaction was apparently that of a man trying to protect the woman he loves. I might understand that if
对
your
啊，你们
relationship was
在什么？
some
为什么
cleverly
不明白
disguised
讲你们的
secret,
关系
but？ it is not.
嗯，
You make puppy dog eyes at one another at every opportunity. You cannot
就一直
hide
互相
your
抛媚眼，
love.
你们之间的爱是藏不住的，
Everybody
每个人都知道
I。advise you to stop with your accusations, Mr. Poirot. I'm going to escort Miss Debenham back to her compartment. Make of that what you will.
全世界
Captain and Mademoiselle
全世界的人都知道，就是你们两个自己不知
adamant
道
about。not revealing their relationship, but this scene convinced me there is more.
他们从饭店就在偷情了。
This murder has everyone on edge. In my 25-year career, I have never seen such madness aboard the Orient Express.
I understand, my friend. The more we learn, the more perplexing this train ride becomes. But we have other clues to pursue.
What do you have in mind?
The broken watch on Monsieur Ratchet's wrist, for example, and the handkerchief found near the body. Who does that belong to?
This little
可是-
drama we have just witnessed.
可是 H 不就是
It's not put you off the
汉本
Far from
什
it,
么
my
的？
friend. Will you return to your watch over Mademoiselle Locke?
Yes, I will. Dr. Constantine can probably use a break.
Good.
Au revoir, Poirot.
不好。1.15分坏掉的手 H 啊，
My little Grace said.
不是上面刚才不就讲了吗？德本汉啊，他是叫德本汉啊。康斯坦丁、赫伯德、安卓尼，对，安卓尼夫人一直没有出现格雷塔奥尔森不会，西德加蒂施米特，有7个人需要确认身份。哈德曼、尚恩， 娜塔莉亚·卓戈米罗夫、莫里、康斯坦丁、康 K、亚德、阿布斯诺、德伯德亚这个啦，还有谁啊？用这么精致的，应该随便啦，这样。
No, not good.
啊，竟然是，竟然这两个不是哎，3个人需要确认身份，这个吧？难道不会是这个？
Think, Poirot. That is not a good answer.
最后一个是谁？这个吗？
This is wrong.
哇，好难哦。
Never far from the
赫德加不是 H 开头的吗？赫德加，对啊，我刚才有选它。不过它难道是这个假的是毛利银哎？
Et voilà.
毛利先生是 H 开头吗？毛利先生不是 M 开头吗？不是莫里吗？啊，是日文吗？日文的毛利是什么？哦，侯塔鲁不是银吗？啊，没有想到。 像名字不哦，好的，我没有想到银这个字啦，我只是一直想到是毛利，因为想到日本人都会习惯那个叫什么？毛利对对，都会习惯用姓，所以我没有想到要名。 这个不用，这个要吗？这不用，其实它不用。名字在前面，可是他们不是都会在自己的那个东西上面不是会写姓吗？不是他们两个。 等下谁啊？我要找谁啊？应该有他吧？
Enchanté, mademoiselle. You are Hildegard.
哦，写信很容易
I am Raffol. And you, I
搞
know,
错。
are Herr Poirot.
Correct. May I ask you for a few minutes of
写
your
信
time
的
to answer a
哦
few questions?
With pleasure, but first may I ask for your help?
Why
怎样？
does this not surprise me?
I
I
don't
don't
know.
I am at your service, Fräulein.
My mistress, Princess Dragomirov, has asked me to open this traditional Matryoshka doll. There is a trinket inside she must retrieve.
Madam, in my
不知道为什么
experience,
刚才
each
狂打喷
Russian
嚏。
nesting doll simply pulls apart to reveal the next one inside.
Indeed. Yet try it for yourself.
As you wish.
You are a gentleman.
Oh, you are a gentleman. 打开娃娃。按错。哦，它是没有那个哦，上面。 啊，对啊。哦。没有问题啊。嗯？为什么我看不出来有什么不一样？哦，我这边有一点点不一样。这样。对啊。我怎么觉得看起来都一样啊？嗯？为什么我赶快吗？哦，同种花哦。哦。所以不是这个花，菊花，不是，兰花，还是它又我们刚刚那个花的顺序是什么？我有点忘记了。因为它每个花其实都可以煮得成啊。啊，大中小4、3，这5、1啊，不是1啊。这2。所以蓝色是在这里，1，没有，每个都1啊。哦，中间都是固定，都是这样子的啦。对啊。规律哦。因为花瓣都是5瓣啊。蓝。但是上面像也没有画是什么所以不是，这应该是。这应该不是，这个的话，如果这样，然后下面就没有啦。那下面就随便吗？这样子吗？可下面是紫吗？不是啊。这样，好粉红。不是啊。先记每一圈的顺序。嗨 Kiko， 先记每一圈的顺序。中间的话，对啊，外圈的话是不一样的啊。然后我以为是，就是它会对应花的颜色，所以我现在这样子是算对应花的颜色，但是它没有给我开啊。如果这样子的话是蓝嘛，对不对？粉红然后蓝， 可是它下面我就不知道它下面的颜色了。因为不可能是这个啊，这是纸啊。没有蓝色在上面的欸。小花配色下一个，对啊。如果这样紫色的话，紫色不是紫色啊，因为像这个也不是蓝色。蓝色、粉红色、粉红色、粉红色、紫色，不是。对啊，来看一下提示。检查。啊？为什么？为什么？为什么？暧昧？为什么是为什么粉？为什么？我不懂哎。我不懂哎。对啊，他给答案啊，可是我看不懂为什么哎。哦，它是一起转的哎。哦，提示在上一层啊，可能要不然就是上一层的，是不是上一层的颜色就直接套到下一层的？然后我没有仔细看，就是我没有记上一层的颜色。它是这样转，它应该是3个颜色要一起，就是所有的颜色要一起，对不对？完了，这种我最不会了。这个我最不会了啦。这是一起转，然后这是上下转，然后这是什么转？这是逆转。然后这个是，这是这样转，然后这个，大家一起转，大家一起转，然后这个这样转，然后怎么办？我觉得，这可以了，塞到了。哦，致我最亲爱的朋友。
The inscription reads, "To my dearest friend."
Ah, thank you very much. This doll reminds her of her youth in Russia. It was very hard under the Soviet regime, but thanks to her strength of will, she rose to be the head of a museum of antiquities in St. Petersburg. Even though she now lives in Berlin, it is said that the Kremlin still fears her.
She must be a formidable woman indeed. You are her maid?
I am her companion. I help her in her daily tasks, and I keep her company.
Ah, forgive me. You will have heard of Ratchet's murder last night.
Yes, of course. Everyone is talking about it.
Have you lost a handkerchief embroidered with an H, madame?
Oh, no, monsieur.
I thought perhaps since your first name is Hildegard.
Oh,
It is
he.
not mine, I tell you.
H.I.
I could not afford something so nice. I have no idea who it belongs to.
My apologies, I did not mean to alarm you. Thank you for answering my questions, madame.
因为他是刚一开始讲 C， 我以为他是 ABC 的 C 啊，真的是英文真的是很骗人呢。所以我还要去我去他们房间。又学到新的英文单词，没错。
Monsieur, I am Hercule.
I know who you are, Monsieur Poirot. What do you want?
Answers to a simple question or two.
All right, but quickly. My wife is quite ill. I would like to stay by her side.
I promise. First of all, I imagine you know about the murder.
Of course. The Countess is terribly distressed.
Your full name?
Rodolphe Adreny.
Your home is?
Budapest.
And how do you come to be aboard the Orient Express?
I am a Hungarian diplomat.
我是匈牙利的
represented
外
our
交官。
homeland since the revolution from the Soviet Union in 1956. I was on my country's business in Istanbul. Business which I cannot discuss.
And your wife often accompanies you on your diplomatic missions?
Yes, and why not? Was there anything else you wanted to know?
他说他是匈牙利人，然后是个外交官，年纪34，太年轻了吧？34当外交官也太年轻了吧？
My little gray cells did not let me down. Can you tell me how you spent last night?
I
年
was
轻
in
有
our
为，
compartment with my
人家
wife.
年轻有
We went
为
to bed early. I
又
played
结
a
婚了
video，game on my phone. Around 11
又是
o'clock
外
in
交
the
官，
evening,
人生胜利
my
组
wife
啊！
woke up and couldn't get back to sleep. She took a sleeping pill. As for me, I went to bed soon after that and slept straight through until morning.
Have you ever been to the United States?
I was posted to the Hungarian embassy in Washington for a year.
You knew perhaps the Armstrong family.
Armstrong? It is difficult to recall. One meets so many people.
It was the kidnapping of a child, a very sad affair. The culprit was the man on this train who called himself Ratchet, the one who was murdered last night.
Indeed. It sounds like justice finally caught up with him.
Thank you for your time. Now, I'd like to speak to your wife, if you don't mind.
It's impossible. As I told you, my wife is very ill. Thank you, and good luck with the investigation.
哇，不给我们，
Eh bien, the good count does not
我也
appear
觉得
to
他
want
怪
me
怪
to
的，
talk to his wife.
是不是外父怎么了？这是我的房间。
Hello. Can I do something for you?
Hello, Monsieur Hardman, I believe. You have heard
而且
of
重点
the
是，
murder?
Cyrus Hartman. Yes.
重点是
There's
他没有敲门就
murders
给人家进
all
去
over
了
the
欸。
train.
You do not seem very concerned about it, monsieur.
It's not the first murder I've run across.
I had no idea the selling of toys was so dangerous.
没想到
I
卖个
did
玩
overhear
具
you mention at dinner that this
这么危
is
险。
your profession.
Toy salesman is a cover. I'm a private detective, just like you, from the U.S.
哦，竟然是一个那个侦探哎，30岁，
No, not good.
不可能是55岁吧？我真55岁，这看起来比刚刚那个还年轻哎。
That was easy.
老婆慎重，对啊，外父目击到谋杀案，身心受挫。哦，也有可能哦，以为是危险的玩具，多危险！
I did not expect to find another detective on this train.
I just finished a job in Istanbul when I received an email from Ratchet. He hired me to protect him.
Something you failed to do.
I'm not happy about that.
哦，我蛮
He
喜
received
欢
some
这样。
threatening letters. I was supposed to watch his back, and yeah, something I failed to do. But he seemed to think he was in more danger when he left the train.
He was traveling to Paris?
I assume so, but I'm not entirely sure.
Can anyone on this train confirm your identity?
Yeah, that McQueen
英文
kid.
老师
Ratchet's
艾瑞尔出现，没错，艾瑞尔出现了。
Were you on duty last night?
You bet. I kept my door open a crack and
我
I
把
watched all
门打开，
night.
不是那天他高中
No
不
one
直接
entered that car who didn't
不是直接去
belong.
跟那个
Did
住
you
就
see
好
anything
了。
in particular?
The conductor, Michelle. He was there most of the time, too, except for 15 minutes or so after we left Vinkovsky. He must have answered a call from Ratchet's room. Then he was absent again for a while around 1 a.m. After that, he didn't move until 5.
Monsieur Hardman, have you heard of the Armstrong case?
Armstrong? The kidnapping 3 or 4 years ago?
谁没有听过？
Why?
Ratchet's real name was Cassetti. I have
Cassetti.
reason to believe he was the kidnapper.
What? He killed that little girl? No, I didn't know. If I had known, I wouldn't have taken the job.
好像外国人是就是好像外国人是对于就是什么就是只要是跟小孩子的相关的犯罪行为好像都蛮不耻
Who
的。
was behind the threatening letters?
听
I
说
don't know his name, but
听
Ratchet
听
told
说
me
那
he was a
个
small man,
如果在
dark
外
hair,
国好像是
with a womanish kind of
是
voice.
算性侵吗？还是反正就是只有小孩子犯罪的话，就是大人对小孩子犯罪的话，进监牢就是会受到所有其他监狱里面的那些犯人好像群起围攻吧，好像他就地位好像是最低落的吧。印象中好像看过这类型的报道。
Is this handkerchief embroidered with an H yours?
Do I look like the kind of guy who would use a
我看起来像是
handkerchief
会
like
用手
that?
帕的人吗？说的也是，你这样说的也是。歧视就是对啊，好像听说他们就是会歧视
Thank
他们
you，for answering my question.
然后甚至会到
Listen, Poirot,
动私刑，
I know I fell down on the job, but if you need help, any at
就
all,
是会被瞧不
let
起
me。know. I'd like to make it right.
他说要弥补他的的过失，我怎么会？为什么？怎么会？这不是黑莓机吗？是不是？以前我记得应该这是黑莓机吧？如果我没有，就是之前有一阵子很红啊，好像是说就是很安全还是什么的，就是如果是一些什么政府，就美国政府机关都要用黑莓机，其实就是不是有点像是现在的那个 Apple， 就是他们都是蛮安全隐秘。你看我的那个另外一个为什么不行？不是我想按那个，我想要查那个、啊，为什么哦这边呐、这里啊，好像国家还有隐私还有主打那个按键。哦，你说因为那个按键长得很像那个吗？表在案发显示逃走。假设案发时间，我觉得是这个。
This is wrong. But
哦，发现啊，不是发现呐、
Let me consider all the possibilities.
不是啦，显示逃走，案发之前就故障了，应该是这个。
I must
哎，
admit
不
I'm
是，
not right
不可能是
this
睡着的时间吧？
Let me consider all the possibilities.
可是睡着也有可能撞到，对不对？因为他睡，案发之前就故障了。
Yes, there are only 3 possible hypotheses. The watch has been tampered with, or it is out of adjustment, or it indicates the time of the murder. I shall explore these last two possibilities before reaching any conclusions. If the watch is out of adjustment, it may be broken. There may also be another reason related directly to Ratchet. Maybe the watch is set to another time zone.
另外一个时区。有什么？
No, no, no.
啊，有什么细节可以显示出在石英元件坏掉前并未停住？
I do
啊，
not
什么
think
的？
that's the right answer.
啊，什么啦？哦，这个。
The watch was not defective because the second hand is still moving. I'm right again. That.
如果有人在哪些资讯哪些资讯与此矛盾？他死在1点15分，哪些资讯就跟他矛盾？火车12点30分就不是啊，他死在1点15分，跟这3个时间又不相冲突，哪里觉得矛盾？有人在凌晨12点37分假冒雷基特，不需要假扮哦。因为他还活着嘛。
Et voilà.
伊斯坦堡的哪个时区？我走加1。
I must admit I'm not right this time.
啊！上面有写，抱歉。加 U 啦，是加 U 啦，对啦。东方快车目前在哪个时区？我们现在在哪里啊？我们从哪里出发？伊斯坦堡，应该是伊斯坦堡吧 ，Sofia。不贝什么 Grady 还什么的 Vicova。我们在哪里啊？我们现在人在哪里啦？好，算1好了啦。管他的。
If this theory is correct, then the murder took place at 12.
因为他的手表时区问题嘛。
All the passengers to see if any of them have an alibi for this hour.
12点15分。能为彼此证明不在场证明，能为彼此证明的是这个跟他，然后他跟他布克先生，我哪里知道布克先生较像？这个吧。
My little gray cells did not.
我们应该从左边出发，我们从右边吧，因为他要去巴黎啊，最终点是在巴黎啊。他是从伊斯坦堡到巴黎吧，然后我们要去，我们还要去这里，好，不用问了啦。
I am not prepared to receive anyone. Come back later.
Very well, madam. I'll come back later. but you will need to speak to me.
Speak to me. 哇，先细。
So, my friend, have you finished your investigation?
No, but I have managed to solve a few mysteries.
Okay. I stay here to watch this young lady.
Excuse me, Doctor. May I ask you a question?
Anything that can help the investigation, Mr. Poirot.
I wanted to know what your first name is, Doctor.
My name is Robert. Why?
To find out if the handkerchief embroidered with an H could have been yours.
I'm a doctor, Mr. Poirot.
我是个医生，布手炮可是病毒的温床，这假的？为什么会这样？为什么洗干净不行吗？
So, my friend. Okay.
洗干净不可以吗？
I hope your investigation is going well, Mr. Poirot.
为什么觉得他怪怪的？
Ah, Monsieur McQueen, may I ask you a question?
Anything I can do to help, Mr. Poirot?
This handkerchief embroidered with an H. Is it yours?
No, I don't use cloth handkerchiefs.
布手，
I
布
won't
手
bother you
帕。
anymore.
但是真的很多日本人都会戴那个布手帕Call of the Wild。可是他们这样问每个人如果说不是自己的，不就没有用了吗？因为我还有谁没有问？毛利营嘛，还有施米特、哈德曼先生、麦奎恩、哈德曼，应该只剩下那个敲门不给我进去的那一个，还有那个毛利，可以了吗？
I am not prepared to respond.
Very well, madam.
还是不是，他是住在那个欧巴桑是住在204吧，记得。
Madame Hubbard, may I ask you a question or two? It won't take long.
Anything I can do to help?
Have you misplaced a handkerchief recently?
No, I don't think so. Why?
We found a handkerchief embroidered with the letter H, so I thought it might have been yours.
I'm sorry, but it's not. It may belong to Miss Schmidt, Princess Dragomirov's lady's maid. I believe her first name is Hildegard.
It is a possibility. Anyone could be lying, of course. I thank you, madame.
只剩下毛利营，好走。日本的手帕便宜又可爱，会使劲风虽然少。对呀，我就很好奇说，就是如果假设说今天就日本人他们放在包包里面啊，如果有点湿湿的，放在包包就直接放包包吗？
Did you need something else, Monsieur Poirot?
Can you tell me how you occupied your time last night?
Just after we left Istanbul, I had tea with my roommate, Fräulein Locke. I went to dinner with the princess, and when I returned to my compartment, Fräulein Locke was already asleep. A little later, Herr Michel, the conductor, came to get me because Madame la Princesse needed my help. Her back troubles her. I massaged her for about an hour.
Do you remember the time?
I'm sorry, I do not, mein Herr.
而且我现在其实我是超多日本手，因为他们就真的就是他们都很会送这种，就是朋友都会送，应该说日本人都会送这个。
Monsieur Foscarelli, I would like to ask you a few questions.
但我都不知道，我就只能把它拿来当就是摆饰，或是这也不知道要怎么使用它。
Unfortunately, you find me on a mission of mercy.
Hello, Monsieur Poirot. Sorry, we have a small problem. The orange juicer has broken down and I can't fix it. Mr. Foscarelli has kindly offered to help me.
It isn't the car engine, but I am doing my best.
Even with the two of us, we can't manage.
Let me guess. You call upon Poirot to help.
I'd be happy to answer your questions when we finished.
来修，我最喜欢修东西了。这样互动。哦，要放。这有点太，怎么感觉很小？啊，这样拿下来对不对？可以拿下来吼。全部拿下来。不是它那个互动很，不行就这样。啊，可以换是不是？哦，这样。哦。说为什么上面可以放？哦，这是，不能，看起来不能动啊，还是要先放大的再放小的？那看起来不像是啊，我怎么看不太懂呢？我怎么有点看？为什么它上面还可以放啊？为什么会有？它是一个堆叠的概念吗？就这样子，然后
，Voila, it should work correctly now.
大家安，我跟你讲，日本我比较喜欢看手工零钱包啊，手工零钱包很可爱，抽奖就是斯普拉的，舍不得用，拿来洗脸啊，对啊，上下放在就联动，对，热带要需要手帕擦汗，对，其实好像也真的是手帕擦汗其实不错，可是我就想说，它那个湿的话，要怎么，就是你要怎么收？
Thank you so much, Monsieur Poirot. I can put orange juice back on the menu.
Bravo. I should stick to automobiles.
Well, now we can talk calmly. Monsieur Foscarelli, is it?
Antonio Foscarelli? Delighted, Monsieur Poirot.
Antonio
You have, of course, heard about Ratchet's murder last night.
Oh, naturally. It is all anyone is talking about.
Have you ever been to the United States?
Yes, it has been a primary market for our cars for the last 10 years.
You remember the Armstrong case?
Armstrong? The name, yes? It was a little girl. A baby, was it not?
Yes, a very tragic affair. Did you know that Cassetti, the kidnapper, was actually Ratchet?
Oh, no. Then he deserved to die. I mean, wouldn't you agree?
对啊，死了活该。
Can you tell me your movements on the night of the murder?
I went to bed right after dinner, but I slept very badly. My roommate, Mr. Masterman, had a toothache. Oh, he moaned all night. It woke me up several times.
Did you hear anything or notice anything unusual?
No, nothing that I can think of. I stayed in my bed all night.
Well, thank you, Mr. Foscarelli.
I'm sorry I couldn't help more, Signore. I remain at your disposal if you should need me.
我之前上份公司的时候，就是因为我们公司会有做欧洲的，跟欧洲的有业务上往来。 然后所以就是我常常要帮忙，就是会接到那个可能打来找一些业务主管的电话，然后反正我就会接，因为我们那时候的公司的政策是，就是你附近的分机响了，你要帮忙，就是如果那个人不在，你要帮忙接，就是你要帮忙接起来，要跟他讲说啊那个人不在位置上，就是你不能让他超过太多声响，然后反正就是其实我很不喜欢的原因是因为那个有一个业务主管，他常常就是会有各国的人打来，因为要来问事情嘛，就是业务上往来就要问事情。我那个很痛苦，因为我英文又不好，然后那时候就会接到那个意大利打来问东西，我听不懂我英文我听不懂我就觉得超痛苦。然后还有就是那个印度，哇，我痛苦到一个炸裂，我就觉得太烦了。然后我就会想说，我就会直接讲说，就是他，你要找谁？你是不是要找谁啊？他现在不在座位上然后我就是反正就是固定就是要回我就会固定讲这几句话啊。你要找谁啊？他现在不在位置上，然后我也不会问他说有什么事情，因为我听不懂他讲什么，我都会说啊，那你是要不要晚点我再请他拨给你或者什么，就是都是固定的。就是超难的，有够难。就是对啊，这种不是有个职在没有？我们以前的公司是这样，就是以前的公司是，你不管是什么样的职位，反正就是你旁边的人电话响了3声没有接，你就要把它接起，你就要把它转过来，然后你要跟那个人讲说他现在不在位置上。那因为我们现在的公司是，你不用管他。就是现在公司的政策是，他响了3声没有接，就表示那个人就是不在位置上啊，你就自己正常来说，你就自己要挂断，你不应该是叫旁边的人接听说他不在位置上什么的。鸭子安，对，就是嗨 QO 安，就是我说这就很好笑，就不同公司的不同的规定，就是上次反正就是印度人跟意大利人打来的电话，我全部都听不懂，然后我就会直接说假设因为我的那时候主管，反正我就可能接起来了，然后我就会说肉肉现在不在位，你不好意思，你请问，就是我很害怕是他们会啪啪啪啪啪开始讲，所以我就会说请问一下你是要找谁？你要找肉肉先生吗？然后可能他就会说对啊，我要找肉肉先生，我要跟他谈什么什么什么，然后我就整个后面都听不懂嘛，我就会说好啊，可惜他现在不在位置上，要不要帮你留个电话什么之类，然后反正不管讲什么，我就是 NPC， 就是我只会讲这句话，你是要找谁？他现在不在位置上，要不要帮你留电话？我超级听不懂的，超难的。然后我觉得，然后另外一个很好笑就是。to the hand， 对啊，然后那时候我还特别去查什么 hold on please， 还有什么就是请你要留下电话，反正就是我那时候就还特别去查几句 NPC 的对话，就是他现在不在位置上，然后要不要帮你留电话，反正就是那几句话，然后就背得炉火纯青，然后就是这样子回答那个回答外国人。然后那时候还有一个最好笑就是那时候也是会有中国的客户。然后其实很妙的事情是，因为我们那时候家里那时候公司有卖就是 LED 跟 LED 的相关产品嘛，然后那时候就接到中国的客户，因为毕竟中文所以就比较好沟通，然后我就会听他们要什么东西这样子，会先问他们要什么，然后他就问我说请问一下你们有没有 LED 的东西？那我就说LED 我们没有，不好意思，我们只有 LED， 然后我们没有 RED。他说你们没有 RED 的东西吗？然后我就说是，反正讲到最后我就说，他说就是他们的 L 发成是 R， 再变 RED， 然后我们那边的时候鸡同鸭讲了很久，然后我才知道他要讲的是 LED。 然后我就觉得那时候觉得超好笑，因为我同事应该觉得我是很怪的人吧。我一直说我们没有 RED 啊 RED 啊，然后对方一直说，可是我看你们的那个网站上面就是有 RED 的东西啊，你怎么会跟我说没有？然后怎么的？我就说不好意思，我们真的就没有 RED， 我们就只有 LED 啊。然后说对，就是 LED， 就是 RED 啊，我就说的是 RED 啊。然后我就说可是你讲的是 RED， 不是我们就没有 RED 啊。
I'm sorry, sir, but I must concentrate on my baking.
超好笑！我那时候，我觉得我幸好我没被投诉啊，没有被那个你们家的那个什么都不会啊！印度人真的我不行印度的英文我真的不行，就已经我中文就已经不是我英文就已经不好了，然后还要再听印度人讲话，我实在是怎样就不行。
Sorry to bother you, Monsieur Mori. I have a question to ask you.
Please make it quick. I have a meal to prepare.
我都觉得那个毛利先生的胸部好大这样是不是性
This
骚扰？
handkerchief embroidered with an H, is it yours?
No, I've never seen it before.
Thank you. That is all I wanted to know.
I hope your investigation won't interfere with today's menu.
你现在是不是在？现在是在恐吓我是不是？对啊，对，每次跟中国的就是厂商或客户讲话的时候，我就会不自觉的，就是可能就是会有点卷舌什么的，就是我不是在故意，就是我不是在故意学他们，而是会就不自觉，就是会有不自觉的，就是讲话变成这样。对，我也觉得毛利先生的制服很紧啊，我就说他的胸部都比我，他的 cup 可能都比我大了。中年发福有点超肥而已。这是可以进去的吗？不行，可能也比他。印度的发音，然后有一次我就跟我朋友，因为我朋友他是会意大利文的，然后有时候我就听，因为有时候就是听他会跟意大利人在谈事情的时候，我就听他讲，然后我说其实如果因为我不会意大利文嘛，我说其实这样意大利文这样听起来真的跟泰文有点像就会有那个就是哒哒哒哒那个音啊，然后他就说哪里像，我说其实对我这种就是语言耳包型的人，我都会觉得很像，就是意大利文跟泰文我就觉得好像。小庄安 Mario 我就只会这个啊。我们现在要干嘛？我们已经问完安卓你可是伯爵夫人不给我他不让我问话他说他很保护，不是很保护。之前的室友是东北人，我们说最强两大中文你说最强两的为什么？为什么不能动？台湾腔跟东北腔，我以为是北京腔跟东北腔才是最大的 battle 因为北京腔的那个他们那个卷他们那个音也很咬文嚼字啊，东北腔很容易带跑人，不卷舌。
Monsieur, if I am to catch this murderer, I will need your help.
My help? I am at your service, Poirot.
You are very protective of your wife, Count Andreni.
Does that surprise you? Her vertigo can be very dangerous.
I believe there are many kinds of vertigo.
If you don't mind, I'd rather talk to a doctor, not a detective. If you'd excuse me.
啊，那我要去找医生吗？哎，这个问过了。哎，那公主在哪一间呢？嗨俊，嗨家。哎，那我可以找，哎，那我还是要再去挑战一次。好，再去挑战一次。哎，他怎么会有时候都会卡卡？东北腔，哎，东北腔有点忘了，东北腔讲。那如果这样
If I
My help?
You are obviously a devoted husband, Count Andrini.
My wife means the world to me. There were questions in Budapest about a Hungarian diplomat marrying an American woman.
美国人
It did not deter you.
I would have given up my
为了
position.
他，就算放弃
I
我
would
的
think it is universal. Are you married, Mr. Poirot?
No, I fear marriage is not for me. But her condition, is it very grave?
She is suffering about a vertigo. You understand? The room spins.
啊，听说晕眩症很严重。
I think Dr. Constantine could help your wife.
There is a doctor on this train? I did not know. Where is this doctor?
I think Dr. Constantine is in the lounge car. If not, perhaps the conductor can tell you where he is.
Very well. I will find him. Thank you very much.
啊，你不躺着，你在那边干嘛？他身上有刺青真的。
Forgive me for intruding, madame. I am Hercule Poirot.
I know who you are, Mr. Poirot. I overheard you send my husband on a
我
wild
听到你
goose
把我
chase.
先生送去
Your
跑大地
husband
游
cares
戏
for
了。
you greatly, madame. I apologize for exploiting that fact. But the situation is urgent, and I need to ask you a few questions.
Apology accepted. I realize you must speak to everyone. This horrendous murder. It's very upsetting.
That is a beautiful music box.
Please don't touch the music box. It's a fragile family heirloom.
Your accent, is it American? Boston, perhaps?
You have a good ear, Mr. Poirot. Yes. Born and raised in what we call the Back Bay.
Are you in the diplomatic service like your husband?
No, not officially. I was still in college when I met Rudy 2 years ago. I keep myself busy handling his scheduling, travel, appointments.
Ah, what is the saying? Behind every great man there is a great woman.
That was the saying. Today one might reverse the sentiment as well, don't you think?
Of course, I stand corrected.
他39，
I do not think that.
他21。
Et voilà. A handkerchief embroidered with an H was
21，
found
那我
at the
可
crime
怜。
scene. By any chance, does your first name begin with an
电脑问题一律建议换
No,
掉。
my first name is Elena, with an E.
E。
Can you tell me what you did last night?
Well, my husband and I went to dinner. Then we came back here. We went to bed around 10 o'clock. I tried to sleep.
他说他见到他先生的时候是大学生，21岁，大学都还没毕业吧？
When did the train's motion prevent you from sleeping?
Between midnight and 2 a.m. I know because I must have looked at my watch about 10 times.
I see.
I see。啊，糟糕！刚刚完全没有再仔细看他。我们10点就上床睡觉，2点之后我就睡了。
She's lying, but why?
Why？ 这个吧。
Come now, Countess. You are not telling me the truth.
Why do you say that?
The train stopped at 12:30 a.m. due to snow, so there was no shaking of the train. But you told me that it was the shaking that prevented you from sleeping.
I don't know. You're confusing me. My vertigo.
Madame, a man died last night. You can't talk nonsense just because you're sick. You are hiding something from me.
How dare you? I didn't do anything wrong. I'm going to find my husband.
That was unkind, I know, but my strategy worked. I
can
now inspect this room in peace.
也许有别的东西也在晃，什么东西呀？是不是整个晚上都是在跳 disco， 很晃哦？哇，昨天大家都吃同样的安眠药啊。床脚不稳，没事没事。别的原因的什么 Great 的 Gatsby 那是什么东西啊 ？Gatsby 我知道是那个啦，是那个法拉的名字啊。啊
？It's closed.
哦，要看一下，上面有这个，玫瑰花、鸟跟树叶，左玫，中树叶，右鸟哈，左玫。中树叶右鸟哈，这个插在哪里？这里吗？这里啊。人家都说是传家之宝了，然后。然后嘞，给我美丽的年轻小姐海琳娜跟索尼娅。
For my beautiful young ladies, Helena and Sonia. Helena with an H.
哦。他没给人家复原哎，我可以把它复原吗？这样好吗？他动过他的东西哎，他没有复原哎。把它推回去，不行怎么办？这个车好突然。中午11点不是专业11点，现在是我记得有一个英文是，就是好像是说什么，现在是白天。现在是白天不能喝酒吧，然后那个句英文就是说什么，现在好像是说总有一个地方是晚上5点半，然 好，意思就是说，就是我忘了那句话英文是什么意思啊？就反正就是说，好像就是说，就是随时随地都可以喝酒还是什么撒回的。所以以后我们要开车，我们就说现在是9点半，总有一个地方总是会是9点半的。神医假又已经查询到晕眩的原因，没错。哦，5P 这个5PM somewhere， 对。对啊，他真的都不怕人家就是都知道他动过，真的是很奇怪这样很危险我这边看过啦，啊，这边还有东西没看对啊，我这个不是看过了吗？为什么上面那个点点不一样了？是不是？这个点点要对应那个点点，是不是？我怎么知道那个点点跟那个点点要怎么对？好，这样，好，应该可以。要转到跟那个点点一样，是不是？不是啊，不能转啊，他也不能转啊，不给我转可以，没有啊，这边
An engraving written in, I believe, Russian Cyrillic. It looks like a
侦探要像小偷一样翻箱倒柜。对啊，这样不好可是这看起来好像还有这里啊。
Countess Andreni with an older girl.
Poirot, have you no shame?
完了。
Monsieur, I am afraid shame is not a very helpful emotion for a detective.
对于想知道真相的侦探而言，羞耻心。
What are you doing in our compartment?
I am investigating a murder, Count Andreni.
My wife is ill.
My apologies, monsieur, but your wife seemed in perfect health when she left the room to find you. I do apologize, but I needed to search your compartment.
You will regret this, Poirot.
我会让你后悔。
Please, Count, you aren't going to challenge me to a duel, are you? Countess, I'm afraid I took the liberty of inspecting your little music box.
How dare you?
The message in the medallion was addressed to you and Sonia Armstrong, your older sister, the mother of Daisy, the murdered child.
I am a Hungarian diplomat. You have no official standing here. You have no right to search.
No, Rudolph. Let me speak. It's useless to deny what this gentleman says. I am Helena Goldenberg, the sister of Sonia Armstrong, and Daisy was my niece. The music box is a gift from my sister's godmother, a very close friend to my mother. We hid the truth from you when we learned that the man killed last night was the person who destroyed my family. I panicked. I didn't want to be accused.
That is also why you lied about the H in your first name?
Exactly. Your ferreting about looking for the H is obviously part of your investigation.
If I found a handkerchief in Monsieur Ratchet's room embroidered with an H, I might suspect you had been there.
A handkerchief? I don't have any handkerchiefs embroidered with my initial. To be honest, that sounds awful.
这样做法我觉得太老气了。
I give you my word of honor that last night Helena never left her compartment.
没错。
My wife is telling you the truth, Poirot.
I hope so. I'll let you rest. The matter of the H on the handkerchief still needs clearing up. But first I should check the inscription on the back of the medallion.
刻字的翻译，利用白罗的俄语能力， 不是，是白罗有，我没有啊。哎，这个是这个啦，哎，不是这个是这个啦，这是，哎呀 ，A T A H， 对啊，我就觉得这怎么娜塔莉亚啊，教母是不是？那个公主。
only Russian passenger on the train. In addition, her first name begins with an H in Cyrillic. I'm right again. That happens to me a lot.
好，要找。但是公主是住哪一间啊？哎，不是啊，哎，公主是不是住很普通的一间啊？我记得，啊，这是我的房间啊。这是不是啊？我记得公主住的房间好像很普通哎。柔柔攻击。哎。
I am not prepared to...
I'm sorry, madam, but a man has been murdered. I must ask you a few questions.
You must have misunderstood me. I cannot speak to you just now.
Madam, I know that Sonia Armstrong is your goddaughter.
Goddaughter.
Come in, please.
Please forgive my intrusion, madam, but I really must ask you some questions.
Then ask. I'll answer if it pleases.
我想回答就回答。
We have not been properly introduced. Yet I have observed her a couple of times, so I can already deduce some things about her.
他是俄国人，他是博物馆馆长。他今年85岁。
That was easy.
他头发很炫哎，他有挑了。
I will first ask you about last night. Will you tell me your movements?
I went to bed just after dinner. I read until
85岁如果
11,
是杀死啊，也是可以，因为那个对方那个已经死掉了，不是已经死，已经睡着了。
Back pain, a consequence of old age. Interfering with an active life. I called Schmidt around 12:45 a.m. to give me a massage. She did so until I fell asleep.
How long was she with you?
A good hour, I would say.
I see. The first initial of your first name, Natalia, in the Cyrillic alphabet looks exactly like the letter H in the Latin alphabet.
I'm Russian, Monsieur Poirot, and I was the head of a museum of antiquities in St. Petersburg for decades, until I moved to Berlin recently. I'm familiar with Cyrillic.
This handkerchief is yours, isn't it?
Yes, indeed. I lost it.
It was found in Monsieur Ratchet's room. Can you explain to me why Madame Schmidt didn't identify the handkerchief? She must have known it was yours.
他这样指着人家，
She is very loyal.
指着人家好吗？
Your next question will be, how did my handkerchief come to be lying by a murdered man's body? My reply to that is that I have no idea.
That is not an answer, madame.
It is all I am able to give you.
哎呀，不是哇！快点，不要！
This
yes,
it was. Can you?
哎呦，
possibly
多按了一下。
my reply
that
it is all.
I must tell you, Princess Dragomirov, I have discovered something astonishing.
And that is?
You are Sonia Armstrong's godmother.
You make that sound like a revelation. I have never hidden the fact, monsieur.
You knew Colonel Armstrong well, then?
I knew him slightly, but his wife, Sonia Armstrong, was my goddaughter. I was on terms of friendship with her mother, the actress Linda Arden. Linda Arden was a genius, one of the greatest tragic actresses in the world. I was not only an admirer of her art, I was a personal friend.
Very well. But this links you to the Armstrong kidnapping case. Helena Andreni is the sister of Sonia Armstrong, the late mother of Daisy Armstrong, kidnapped and killed by the man who was murdered on this train, Ratchet.
Indeed. Was it he? Then justice has at last been served.
Allow me to summarize.
Do I have a choice?
First coincidence, I shall call it. You are close to the Armstrong family, and the presumed assassin of Daisy Armstrong was killed while you were on board the same train. Second coincidence. Your handkerchief happens to be found at the foot of the victim's bed. Third coincidence. One of the stab wounds inflicted on the body was by a left-handed person. You are left-handed. That is a lot of coincidences, Princess Dragomirov.
Well, Monsieur Poirot, call it fate. If you report to the police your coincidences, they will laugh. A woman of my age and frailty has violently murdered a man? With how many potential witnesses who saw me doddering along the corridor in the middle of the night like Lady Macbeth?
You are right, Princess. You could not work alone, which means you have one or more accomplices. And it is only a matter of time before I find out who they are.
I would appreciate it if you would remove yourself from my room and take your fantasies with you.
哦，这边有一只鸟哎，所以他是不是用这只鸟训练那个回答？
Et voilà.
可是有这么容易，凶手就这样被猜出来是谁了吗？通常真正的凶手是鼻屎大的动机耶，这看起来很不鼻屎耶。如果以这样来看的话，最简单当然就是公主有卡住，当然就是公主跟她的那个，就是我觉得整车人的都有嫌疑啦，都是互相帮忙，就只有这整车12个，几个乘客，12个乘客，总共有10个人都是共犯。好像应该在餐厅，在餐厅吗？他在那个啦，他在看小姐是不是？他在看小姐啦。线索应该走完了，应该走完了吧？应该没有再更多线索了。我个人是认为，整车的人真的除了那个意大利那个神西跟那个侦探之外，其他人全部都是犯人吧？还有那个啦，还有那个做甜点的跟那个摇饮料的跟那个，其他都是犯人。还有这个啦，还有这个不是。
Oh, Poirot, you're there. She hasn't moved, but she seems to be waking up little by little. What about you? Your investigation progresses?
I find myself helping everyone with their problems before they can help me with mine. I have shifted boxes, helped with hangovers, repaired an orange juicer, unlocked some Russian dolls, all so my investigation can proceed.
Don't forget the dessert recipe.
How can I?
Truly, the labors of Hercules.
My friend, I would rather clean out the Orient stables. Yet, I have managed to solve a few mysteries.
Oh, tell me everything.
The embroidered handkerchief belongs to Princess Dragomirov. I also found out that she was Sonia Armstrong's godmother.
On the same train with the little girl's murderer?
Exactly.
Exactly.
Also, Elena
可是如果
Alveni
这么
is the
简单，
younger sister
会有这么
of
简单的可能
Sonia
性吗？
Armstrong, Daisy's mother.
Another passenger connected to the Armstrong case?
Yes, Book. What are the odds, do you think? But I cannot see either woman stabbing Ratchet over and over again in a frenzy. And they apparently have alibis.
不简单呢。
I had 3 theories concerning the broken watch. It could have been tampered with. It could have been out of adjustment before the murder. Or, of course, it could indicate the actual time of the murder. The only hypothesis I could rule out was that the watch was out of adjustment. For the others, they are impossible to verify. So the watch is of little use to the investigation.
And I was convinced that it indicated the time of the crime. 2 women involved in the Armstrong case.
Let us not forget our patient here. There are 3 women.
Look, she seems to be waking up.
他每次醒来都要进入到他的角色了吗？
What's happening to me? Did I fall asleep again?
Indeed, Mademoiselle Locke. Did you take any medication? Sleeping pills, for example?
No, I never use sleeping pills.
I inspected your cup. You can clearly see that there is a residue of something at the bottom. I'm sure a lab test would confirm you were drugged. Most likely an overdose. That would explain your battle to shake off the effects.
You think Fräulein Schmidt did it?
She certainly had the most opportunity, but why would she?
But no one knew who I was. It's impossible that someone deliberately targeted me.
为什么？是不是因为他被知道是警察？两个对，他们两个吧。
I must admit I'm not right this time.
其他人跟他也没接触啊，为什么？他啦，因为他有，不是吗？
But I'm never far from the truth.
为什么是侦探？
No, not good.
可是德本汉小姐的话很奇怪对啊，那还有谁啊？总不能是米歇尔吧？对啊，都快猜完了。为什么是米歇尔？为什么？谁有药可以用？米歇尔有谁有药可以用的话，就是那个啊，那个安卓尼夫人啊，还有那个赫本什么。不是，他是阿司匹林。
To why I ended up on this train.
If you are able, I would very much like you to finish
现在换到他的
your story.
Very well then. After the Daisy Armstrong case was officially closed, I put out a standing request to the police departments in the Boston area for anything on Michael Clark. But he didn't turn up on their radar. I even set up an anonymous tip line for news about Clark. That's how I met Braid, a sketchy contact on the dark web, but they found nothing I could use.
因为他被小孩叫唤关灯了。
4 long years passed without anything new. Every day I looked at the evidence board I put up in my apartment bedroom.
他的证据版好少哦。
Then this morning, a police report landed on my desk that changed everything. I paid a visit to the police property room and took home a box full of clues.
他可以这样子从警察的证据室拿。
Michael Clark.
麦克拉克之死哦，他是不是炸死？
A bill from the power company with, I'm sure, plenty of excuses why my rates keep going up. Travel. For the discriminating traveler. Also for the overworked detective who never seems to have time for vacation. Well, I can dream, can't I?
麦克克拉克的尸体被发现在埋在他的克拉克因胸部中了一枪而死，估计死亡的时间是2018年的秋天诶。
Years of no new leads in the Armstrong case, and then this. Michael Clark, the sarcastic reporter, my prime suspect in the kidnapping, murdered 4 years ago? This is Michael Clark? He doesn't look anything like the journalist I interviewed. Michael, you have earned a place on my evidence board.
所以他是被杀，然后就是被假冒了嘛，对不对？
Fluffy. Daisy's plush toy. The lab team found this keychain in the cabin, but they wouldn't have bothered to examine the keys once the DA shut down the investigation. The keys were just tossed in the evidence box along with everything else. It's too unusual not to demand a closer look.
会不会太随便了？诶，为什么不能动？哦，可以上下移动。 是个骨头啊，可以上下移动哦。那这样，那先移开。好的。哎，靠背哦，它就变这样子了啦。哎，好了，哎，竟然是很夸张哎，警察都不检查的哦，警察超夸张的，就这样子让证物随便丢，好啊。 哎呦，这什么意思？哦，他在干嘛？
What do they call this?
纸
Brass knuckles? Knuckle dusters?
Ah!
Illegal in Massachusetts. Possession alone can lead to serious jail time.
$3569，哇，这太多刀了吧！
A key knife. They sell them on the internet for self-protection.
3、5、6、9。
What do we find? A capsule and a smell.
不是这串钥匙
Bitter almonds.
这串钥匙是杀人武器吧？会不会太夸张了？这串钥匙。看一下这个。我要矫正。这串钥匙到底是怎样啦？哎，我怎么不能整？
What do we have here? A flashlight. They can also conceal knives, but in this case we have.
这串钥匙对啊，是凶器集大成哎，什么都有。哇！ 杀人必备凶器耶
So clever. All that evidence, and yet no DNA found. Suzanne's hair, so conveniently left in the cabin for us to find.
对，这一看就知道，这一定是有问题的啊。
The only fingerprints found on the bottle were Suzanne's.
这明明就是他带他去假崩，然后那个采集他的指纹啊，警察就是都没地看啊。两个项目连起来，对，做出结论。
I knew it. The faces don't match at all. They are clearly two different men. I should run facial recognition on my computer.
那晚的通话记录逮捕令。哦，这是他爸爸。约翰·阿姆斯壮自杀，他自杀了！天啊！波士顿枪击案受害者验尸报告刺青，那这跟有什么关系？ 绑票案的证据。啊？黛西。哦？哎？ 嗯？嗯？哦，这证据吗？嗯？受害者身份不明，所以是他。嗯？喂。 还有吗？这怎么？对啊，这绑票证明不是啊。黛西，我还有什么东西可以按吗？是不是没有啦？检查。 对啊，没有啦，应该没有了吧？对啊，应该不用连了吧？还要连吗？还是其实就差不多了，应该就这样子而已吧？ 感觉还有有啊，还有哦，黛西，这个嘞，没有啊。对，他家有猫猫还是猫猫其实是到处都有。刺青，身份不明，受害者身份不明，可是应该，哎呀，一个男子的尸体致死了，脸部。这应该是那个诺亚吧，就是那个克拉克的那个，就是那个雷契特的那个叫什么名字啊？雷契特的共犯。这不是刚刚那个资料库找不到。指尖部分已经被切除，哇，这很狠为什么不动刺青？好，这两个就是逮捕令。好，这就是那天绑架那个。杀害的女自杀，可是他不是退休吗？我刚才按到的这个，不是，对啊，他的那个上面跟里面的字不一样，意外退休。无法走出，所以是他那个麦奎恩，他等于说他其实是误判了，他没有追。对啊，看起来还是要连线对啊，我觉得，不行可是我觉得他那个。不行了吗？可是他看起来还是有要按可是我刚刚这样看起来，我觉得猫在这里啦。好，人脸辨识。
The real Michael Clark has been dead for years. Let's see if the photo of the fake Michael Clark matches someone in the database of known criminals. I've tried this several times in the past few years, but came up empty. Maybe whoever he really is has finally made a mistake. That could be him, but he looks pretty different.
照片的头发。
Yes, he seems different at first glance, but still it's the same person.
额头、眼镜。
All right.
All right. 鼻子、图掌。
Good.
他每个都要按吗？因为我觉得都长得很像啊。 把揪，耳朵，额头是多了几条皱纹啊。我说鼻子比较小一点对啊，鼻子看起来好小哦。他是不是收鼻？
He's changed his appearance a lot. Probably had some plastic surgery on his nose, but there is no doubt it's the same person. Let's see why he was arrested.
雷基特被捕他被盗古文
Mr. Ratchet, you didn't just steal statuettes. What recent information does the database have on you?
好，看一下。
It's so frustrating. I have a name, but I can't find anything about him. But I know just who to call.
Who? 接电话。机器人防御联盟，你好。
Hello, Braid. Long time.
Oh, Joanna. Hey, how may I assist you?
I need you to search the dark web.
Yeah, can you narrow that down a little? Because it's pretty big and pretty dark out here.
Could you find intel about a Samuel Ratchet?
Samuel Ratchet. Got it. Bad dude?
They don't come worse. Send me what you find by email.
All right, hang on. Okay. Yeah, Okay, nope. And okay. Oh, this might be something. I gotta do a deeper dive, but you should find this interesting. Could be coincidence if I believed in them. Emailing details.
这是巧合吗？不，我不这么认为。
Mr. Robot.
三生没去就要挂断，没错。第
Oh, it's a cookbook.
有猫先给赞，没错。啊，他要上车了，布雷德的店。
The Orient Express. I'm gonna print these tickets and put them on the board.
真。
Shaved off the metro beard. But I'd recognize that smug bastard anywhere. The man I interviewed 4 years ago posing as Michael Clark. This goes on the board.
Ah, 那个刺青。
Maybe they needed to show the ransom to someone to check if the serial numbers were still on record. I'll print them, and on the wall they go. Absolutely nothing on this Cassetti. His driver's license is almost surely a fake. I know I have to stop printing. It's bad for the planet.
我知道我不应该再这样印下去，这样真的很不环保。哎，这还有哎，我还有什么没印吗？印啊，这个还有哎。
Orient Express. I'm gonna print these. Mr. Ratchet, you didn't just steal statuettes. What recent info?
那我刚刚印的东西嘞
I know I have. Mr. Ratchet, what recent information?
资料库哦，我要看一下资料库。哦，有贴上去的。这个。
This tattoo is the same on both pictures. Goodbye, Michael Clark. Hello, Samuel Ratchet. The
Samuel
man who stole
Ratchet.
your identity and your life.
Ratchet.
So, Ratchet's real name was Cassetti. The person traveling with Ratchet has the same last name as my district attorney during the Armstrong case? This is Ratchet's ticket.
爱德华·马斯特曼的爱德华·马斯特曼。这还可以再连他吗？不用再连了。爱德华·马斯特曼应该不用吧？他还有艺名。哎。第2章，所以他那个不用了是吧？那这张车票是谁的啊？就不用了吗？
These tickets were all booked by McQueen.
都是他订的。那这个还要那个吗？怎么也没我恭维啊？
As Ratchet is alive, the dead man can only be Noah.
哇，那是线签的乱七八糟绑票的证据，为什么这个还可以再签？不用。诺亚，还可以再签是不是？赎金跟阿姆斯特有关吗？也有可能哦。艾瑞，还是你，我是觉得他是赎金的第一张照片。竟然可以连起来，然后再这样连起来。然后这个不会就真的连起来。然后
The DA resigned soon after the Armstrong case. It haunted him just as it has haunted me.
因为要把它连起来，是不是？要全连，是不是？这样，这还可以连谁啊？这样，绑票的证据。我还有谁可以？不会最后是这个吧？呀？还有什么可以？枪击的，对啊，开始暴力连接没有错。毕竟我真的有点搞不太清楚它还有什么关联呢。昨天被发现死亡，我觉得不是他？难道是他？还真的是连在这样子连呢，莫名其妙。可是为什么他这个不能连？ 啊，因为赎金是不是这样？也不是啊。他要把赎金给谁看？为什么？哦，因为他们是有关联的。那给赎金给他看。赎金给他看，给他看。赎金是跟他有关系？通话记录。谁知道？谁会知道？都没有啦，是不是不能连了？啊，不会还可以连这个吧？他已经连过啦。我要看提示啦，哎，没有提示，靠背哦。哎，还可以再连呢？谁啊？谁知道还可以再连什么？还是啊，我先看一下。啊，有了啦！哎，
哦 I knew it. He's the son of my former DA.
证据版就是模仿证，快对啊！还要再印一张啦！哇，有总有那么多张，真的很浪费纸哎。
Here's what Hector McQueen looks like. Hector McQueen is the son of District Attorney McQueen.
不要那么激动啊！诶，不用。对啊。啊，那他们两个是。
This guy works for Ratchet, and if that's a coincidence,
这如果是巧合，我就把我的警徽给吃了。说明不一定啊，说明就真的不是巧合。啊，因为他定了。应该可以再去看一次那个。还有吗？它还有那个所以还有一个没有印啊，这个。
The Orient Express. I'm gonna.
可是我刚刚跟他印过了。
Mr. Ratchet, what recent?
这我都做过了。表示我还有一个东西可以连。我看一下哦。对啊，这里没得连啊。那晚的通话记录，不就是诺亚吗？可是他也不给我连啊。阿姆斯壮。还有什么东西可以连啊？没有关联吧？啊？阿姆斯壮的自杀，我实在是看不出来还有哪里可以关联呢？证据是什么？证据就是他们那时候的第一份报告啊，就是那时候不是就是那个那时候在调查的时候，有一个四轮传动车跟那个开启的门还有梯子啊，所以证据那时候就说是诺亚，可是这个也不能再连啊。应该说它可以连的，它都没有办法连 对啊，你看他只剩下这个可以连，也不行了，他没得连了，应该是猜错了，不是猜错了啊。你看哦，他就是反正你就连不对，他就会不给你连了。好，你要这样破，那就破，那个一点都。对啊，我奇怪了。哦，生气咯。他就对啊，还有什么东西？我再去看一下那个电脑。对啊，我都，他又没有，应该还少一个。
I knew it. He's the son of.
对呀，这个我刚看过了嘛，我都印出来啦。
The Orient.
对啊，这也印啦。
Mr. Ratchet, what recent?
印啦。Samuel 啊。对呀。都印啦。最后贴上是不是有少连了？我看一下哦。他跟他爸连了吗？跟老板连了吗？因为还有一个身份不明的啊，我一直以为是他，这不是啊。我觉得应该还少一张纸，少一个东西呀，应该还少一个，就是要去印的啊。对呀，我现在绕一圈，就没有啦。这猫咪的家。
Help yourself, Joanna. You earned it. I've read it probably 10 times already, but I can't get enough of it. Don't know why. Maybe because it helps me sleep? The Orient Express departs from Istanbul next week. Interesting. I'll put it on the board.
笑死欸，竟然是这个。它还有等，还有什么东西
The event? Some old train. But that face, that man.
为什么这跟这有什么关系？他真的很爱乱撕有的没的呢。反正没有。好，气死我了！不要乱撕啊！
Next week, a certain Edward Masterman will be on the Orient Express.
好。
Hector McQueen will be on the Orient Express next week. Ratchet will be traveling on the Orient Express in a week.
有需要那么激动吗？
Foscarelli will be on the Orient Express next week. I know that face. That's John Armstrong's driver.
啊，真的假的？等一下，我完全没有看到啊。
Damn, Ratchet is taking the Orient Express
终
next
于
week. McQueen McQueen, the district attorney's son, is too. Foscarelli, the Armstrong chauffeur, is too. It can't be a coincidence. McQueen and Foscarelli must have decided to take revenge and will undoubtedly attack Ratchet on this train. I have to be on the Orient Express to stop them. And above all, I must stop Ratchet. But I can't do it in Istanbul because there's no extradition treaty with the United States.
所以司机竟然是那个我完全看不出来司机我真的是脸盲我应该说我真的是外国人脸盲这辆列车就是夺命列车，大家都想要，我就说嘛，所以我就说嘛，是不是12个乘客里面，是不是根本就是有10个乘客都想要他的命，应该都是共犯吧。
Every compartment is taken for this special anniversary journey. Oh, it's impossible to find a ticket. What can I do?
What can I do? 找人买车票。
Let's find out who's traveling on the Orient Express. Time to call Braid.
黄牛票是没有钱啊！不要买黄牛票，不可以买黄牛票。各位想开车的，下周要开咯。
It's me again.
I haven't found anything useful yet.
I need one last favor. But it's a big one.
Big one.
Can you find me the list of passengers of the Orient Express for that anniversary trip?
Hold on. Jeez, their IT is surprisingly good. Maybe because of the big event. I found the list, but they sealed my back door as I was starting to capture it.
Oh, no.
Whoa, calm down. I got one name. Female. The name I got before they kicked me off the server was Stacy Johnson. Do you feel like a Stacy Johnson?
The question is, how is she going to feel about helping me?
That's one you'll have to figure out for yourself. I gotta go back to weaving my magic on the web.
所以一直都他。好，所以我现在是要那个 Stacy 的熟人，并打电话给他。Stacy Johnson。Stacy Johnson。爱与绝望，多个病童。他的桌子好干净哦。
Hello, is this Stacy Johnson?
Who's asking?
我是个刑警啊。
My name is Joanna Locke. I'm a police detective.
And I'm just an actress. Now what did I do wrong?
Nothing. I need your help. I need to take your place in the Orient Express.
Is this a joke? No way.
Do you remember the Armstrong kidnapping?
Of course I do. That poor little girl.
I'm a police officer. I have a new lead that may help me find her killer.
Wait, didn't they prove it was the nanny?
I have found compelling new evidence. I've reopened my investigation.
You know, I had my doubts about the murderous nanny. I played a nanny a couple years ago in a slasher. I was killed in the first episode, but it got me interested in helping kids.
Stacy, please. You say you help kids?
Well, I joined a couple of associations who are trying to help underprivileged kids. If this little girl's real killer is still out there somewhere, I'd do anything I could to help.
Getting me on that train will help more than you can imagine.
So, you want my ticket for the Orient Express? But I booked it months ago. I was so much looking forward to this trip.
友善示好跟2倍价钱买这张票，友善示好。
Stacy, I can tell you care about kids.
我不想花
Here's your
钱。
chance to help put this beast in prison for the rest of his life. Think of the publicity for those causes you care about. Think about the kids.
The kids. Yeah. All right. We'll do it for Daisy and the kids who suffer. I'll take care of changing the tickets to your name and send it to you. Get him. Make him pay.
I will. Thank you so
对，
much.
晴乐，这个没有刚刚，因为他讲曝光度，我觉得讲曝光度对于
Stacy
演员
was
来
as good as her
说
word.
就是
I received the ticket. I called my chief to let him know I was taking my vacation time. I had coming. I flew to Istanbul. I was finally going to nail the monster responsible for Daisy Armstrong's death, Michael Clark's death, even his accomplice, and, I suspected, so many others as well. You know the rest. And that's how I found myself on this train. On Ratchet's trail. The rest, you know. My identity is easily checked with the Berkshire Police.
其他的，
Thank you for
对啊，
your
我都怀疑
detailed
耶，总共几刀？13刀还是几
In
刀？他
addition
不是说
to
10几
giving
刀
us
吗？
crucial details
我都怀疑每个人都杀了一刀啊，
You have made it clear
就是
that
每
there
个人
are
都
many
去
who
那边
might
捅一
wish
刀，
to see
因为都不知道他
Ratchet
这个人死
dead.
了没。
I know you are innocent. Your forthright testimony and your movements.
因为有大有小嘛，然后所以有大有小就表示有就是老人、女人跟男人都一人一刀。
And our detective will be great help to the investigation.
Book.
Although my friend certainly does not need any help.
You are too kind.
Thank you for believing me. I'd like to help in any way I can.
Do not worry, Mademoiselle Locke. Already I see things more clearly. It's obvious. Whoever drugged you
没错，
was
深浅
trying
表
to
示恨意的大小。
derail your investigation.
You mean the person who did this to me is Ratchet's killer?
Both Monsieur Michel and Fraulein Schmidt had the means and opportunity to drug you. While you get your strength back, I intend to interview them.
Excellent idea, my friend. All this excitement has whetted my appetite. I'm sure Mademoiselle Locke won't say no to a good, invigorating meal.
What? No. I want to hear what the conductor and Fräulein Schmidt have to say for themselves.
It is my duty to ensure the well-being of the passengers. If Dr. Constantine has no objection, I will escort you to the restaurant car.
On the contrary, some food will do her the greatest good.
Well, I'm still a little shaky. Mr. Poirot, will you please keep me informed about what you learn?
You may be certain of it.
尸体buffet，每个人都可以享用。为什么？好，斯密特跟那个晚上了。米歇尔，米歇尔。米歇尔他在哪里啊？我怎么知道米歇尔在哪里？米歇尔平常都坐这里耶。
I have nothing to ask them at the moment. I should leave them alone.
最好你们都在那边哦。
Good evening, Fräulein Schmidt. May I disturb you for a moment?
You asked so politely, mein Herr, but I do not think I have a choice.
I know you drugged Mademoiselle Locke's tea. Don't try to deny it.
Nevertheless, I do deny it.
I wanted to let you know that your roommate, Mademoiselle
这种
Locke,
但还米
is
歇
away.
尔。
Ah, yes, I'm glad to hear that. I was worried about her. Did she tell you what had happened to her?
Unfortunately, she doesn't remember much, but we found a residue of a sleeping pill in her cup of tea. Since you two were alone together in your room when she drank it, who else but you could have drugged her?
Must I point out I do not make the tea on this train? You should question the conductor or the kitchen staff.
他怎么让他认罪？他差点死掉哎！你有安眠药？你有安眠
I
药？
know you have sleeping pills, Fräulein.
I do have some. Do you think I'm the only person on this train who finds it difficult to sleep? I believe the Countess Andrenier takes them. And I heard the Olsen woman thanking Mrs. Hubbard for a pill.
That was aspirin.
If you say so.
他差点死掉。
Mademoiselle Locke could have died. Whoever drugged her must not feel any empathy for their fellow human beings, given the dose that Mademoiselle Locke ingested. She was close to death.
Oh my God. What did I do? I didn't want to hurt her. just have her sleep for a few hours while we had time.
We? Time for what? Time for what, Madame Schmidt?
You think I feel nothing? Nothing? That poor little girl.
Indeed, that poor
这么快就认罪了。
Orient Schmidt is somehow connected to the Armstrong case.
他是阿姆斯壮的家的厨师，索尼娅·阿姆斯壮的女看护。他不是的。啊，什么时候他有讲出这些事情了
No, not good.
他是厨师？那他是卓哥米罗夫公主的厨师，还是阿姆斯特家的厨师？对，
I must admit.
他是阿姆斯特家、阿姆斯壮家的厨师，怎么会？什么时候他有讲过？
Voilà. Fräulein Schmidt, I have a certain
我有一种很知名的能力人种。
Forgive me, but I was going to say brilliant chefs. You were the Armstrong family's cook, were you not?
But yes, I was the cook.
我要推理，我推不出来啊。
I'm sorry, but I must ask you to.
哦，就是阿姆家才会讲，可是女看护也会啊。
It wasn't supposed to be like this, my darling, my poor darling child.
I will give you that time, Fräulein. You have given me.
就连司机都刚刚知道，可是司机有照片啊。他就这样看着我哭，好可怕哦！你看看他这样看着我哭，你不要这样看着我，我好害怕哦。女看护自杀，是保姆自杀，女看护没有自杀。
Can I get you something, Monsieur Poirot? Everyone is so tense.
An aperitif soon, Monsieur Fauchet, with pleasure.
Fauchet.
When the matter is resolved.
呀，那个嘞，米歇尔嘞，米歇尔 ，Where's 米歇尔？
You're right, Mr. Book. This dessert is delicious. I'm glad we didn't wait for dinner.
I promise the entrée will be superb as well.
Detective Locke, you are recovering well, I see.
Yes, I should be helping with the investigation. Do you know who drugged me?
It is early yet for conclusions. When I return,
我知道了，一定是会不会其实是，就是那个刚刚那个厨师，女厨师。
And yours truly are looking after her.
女厨师对他下了一点药，然后那个米歇尔又不知道，米歇尔又再加了一点药，然后就是药效整个是 double 的状态，哇，有够可怜欸。
Not now, not now. I have a dinner to prepare. Would you interrupt Michelangelo or Da Vinci?
Michelangelo 啊，那个嘞，米歇尔在哪里啊？这里吗？ 米歇尔
Good evening, Michel. Am I bothering you? You seem stressed.
With everything that's going on, I must admit it's difficult to be relaxed.
Of course, I understand. Especially since we know that Detective Locke's tea was drugged before it was served to her.
Detective?
Come now, Michel. Surely you would have taken the opportunity
而且他怎么知道他是
to
金
search
座
her things and
对啊，
find
不然他
her
怎么知道他是金座？不然他就会
Luckily,
说
she
洛
woke
克
up
小
and
姐。
was finally able to tell us her story.
Otaru boiled the water, Jean made the tea. I just brought it. Sir, it could have been any of the staff.
Your defense is to accuse others?
嗯。 他是
You
他
have a
爸爸。
network connection?
No, unfortunately. It's just an automatic reminder to pay my rent. I always forget, and my landlord complains.
Pierre Michel had to be involved in the murder. The drugged tea? his post at the end of the hall, and now I know why I know more than one.
然后右边上面那个是那个吗？左边那个是谁？
Good job.
右边中间那个是谁？
Adequate.
右边这个是谁？
Fantastic.
那他们三个为什么名字都不一样？
I'm right again. You are the father of Suzanne Moreau.
这车都约好了吗？应该都是约好的。
Condolences on the death of your wife.
What? But my wife...
Enough lies. Suzanne does not bear your name?
No. Suzanne's mother and I were divorced. Suzanne kept her mother's name.
My most sincere condolences, Monsieur Michel, on the deaths of Suzanne and your wife.
This job, I loved them, but I was never there for them. Then a year after the divorce, Solange became ill. Suzanne took her to the
对，他
special
就说他带他
hospital
去，
in
等
the
下去
US.
关个门，
Got that job as
房间好冷
Daisy's
哦。
nanny.
I understand your pain, and the reason that led
哎呦呀
you to drug detective luck.
We really can't hide anything from you, can we?
Many have been foolish enough to try and keep the truth from Hercule Poirot.
Yes, I admit, I drugged the tea. But it was only to keep her quiet until I could. But she reacted so much to the sleeping pills.
She was lucky, as are you.
对啊，你看他们是不是两个人都加点药，所以才会药效是 double 的状态。
That puzzled me, but I think I understand now.
哈德曼先生是米歇尔先生的男友。哈德曼先生是米歇尔先生的男友，哇，这太酷了吧！哈德曼先生是米歇尔先生未来的女婿，当然是男友啊。
You have a certain fondness for Monsieur Hardman, no?
Cyrus is a good friend, and I appreciate him a lot, but it's not that. Cyrus was my daughter's fiancé. I almost consider Cyrus as my own son.
Of
不对吧？
much more is
你女儿，你女儿跟诺亚在一起，
It's time to go and see what all the commotion is next door.
你女儿跟诺亚在一起，怎么会有他？怎么哈德曼是他的那个未婚？
Monsieur Hardman, excellent. The gods who watch over detectives must have trapped you here.
Why didn't they watch over me? I'm a detective too. I was talking to Michelle about a leaky faucet, and I wanted to go out, but you showed up.
No need to invent some preposterous story.
But really,
Michelle has told
对啊，
me everything.
有未婚夫然后晕船
You are the fiancé of
不能
Suzanne
晕，
Moreau,
不
his daughter.
Oh, I see.
Surely this is not a big surprise to you.
No. Suzanne was the only woman I ever loved.
啊，曾经的吗？曾经的未婚夫。
It was nothing, but I was too proud to apologize.
然后冷战之后，
We
女的
weren't
就
speaking
去
at
跟
all. Suzanne never really cared for that guy Noah. She would have forgiven me. If only. If only.
If only. A common refrain between lovers who quarrel. Obviously, Pierre Michel and Fräulein Schmidt
所以两个人都真的都有下药，
causing the overdose. No wonder she had so much trouble waking up. Time to report my findings to her and Book. I wonder if our master chef gets his recipes.
我们的大厨该不会照着游戏里面的食谱在走？哦，不一定哦。好，然后就回去回报了。叔叔上菜，看起来百八会做的事情。厕所我们一直没开，所以是不是厕所会有那个胡子啊？也没有胡子。今天胡子不好找我来看看有没有胡子。 胡子，那个门可以打开，我一直怀疑里面有胡子，但是我没看到啊。看哦，对啊，可是他每次他都可以打开，超奇怪的。好了，其实胡子也不是一个什么必要的东西，是一个成就而已。好在女警的，对啊，壮跟牛一样。那68之虎也是很厉害，真的很厉害。我要跟你讲话等一下，干，这个布克真的是很会吃你看他吃了几盘甜点，要不要吃垮了布克
So, my friend, tell me, you have something new?
阿米呀
Look, I know who drugged you. Fräulein Schmidt and our conductor Pierre Michel both admitted putting sleeping pills into your tea. This explains your overdose. They are relieved you are recovering.
Michel drugged a passenger? On behalf of the company, I offer my apologies to you, Mademoiselle Locke. Michel will answer for this outrage.
Both of them? I was pretty sure about Fräulein Schmidt, but I admit that I did not suspect the conductor.
阿姆斯壮案。
I have uncovered multiple
我发现好几个人都跟阿姆斯壮，
connections
讲到结果其实凶手是布克，布克安排了这一切。
of Suzanne Moreau, Little Daisy's nanny, and Monsieur Hardman
布克感觉应该有关联，我觉得布克说不定才是真正这一次的那个主导的。
She was the cook of the Armstrong family. What a coincidence, don't you think?
But it's incredible. What are the odds that so many people linked to that tragic affair ended up on the
就
same
问你啊，
About the same as you winning the
怎么
lottery,
可能？
my friend.
怎么可
I
能
wasn't the officer who interviewed Fräulein Schmidt back then, so she couldn't recognize me here on the train. How could they know who I was?
There were other passengers who might have. Or she may have seen you when you visited the Armstrong home. It is now clear to me
太
that
近
some
太
of the
近了
clues to this elaborate plot was staged for my benefit.
凶手希望我得到什么结论？凶手在文科威上车杀了雷吉特，然后下车，然后再被凶手在文科威上车杀了雷吉特，现在还在车上。凶手希望我得到什么？应该是这个吧。
That was easy.
对啊，太近了，真的太
Some
近了。
clues and information collected so
检察
far
官儿
could
子
lead to， a
检察官儿子是那个
hypothesis.
啊，
The
另外一
murderer
个麦奎
boarded
恩
the train in Vinkovsky, killed Ratchet, and then left
太
the
近了
train
啦。
immediately.
How did you come to that possibility?
Monsieur Hardman told me about a short man with a high-pitched voice who threatened Ratchet. Imagine for a moment that this man, wearing a wagon-lit conductor's jacket, killed him while Michel was on the platform at Vinkovsky. This murderer then hid the conductor's jacket in Detective Locke's room, then fled before the train left.
Why choose Detective Locke's room?
Why, indeed. Let me re-explain from the beginning.
假线索的事件。应该是这个。哎，这个吧。上车。 那他什么时候处理掉？外套什么时候处理掉的？看一下，停在然后下车上车，凶手杀了奇德，然后从他离开，然后凶刀过程中掉了一颗纽扣，然后凶手处理了外套，然后。应该这个是最后一个，凶手下了车。
That's the right answer.
Mon Dieu! Oui! That must be it! Everything fits so well!
It fits too well, my friend. Other clues lead to a second hypothesis, much more plausible.
最有可能为真的假说是什么？凶手不止一个，动机都是想要。凶手不止。
My little gray cells did not so. We have multiple murderers, all related to the Armstrong case. The murderer from Vinkovsky was a fabrication to turn suspicion away from those on the train. They expected the investigation
就真正的凶手是
to be
布克
led by
跟
some
那个
small-town
医
official
生。
who could easily be misled.
Mr. Poirot?
Detective Locke, forgive me. You are an obvious exception. You tracked Ratchet with the tenacity of a bloodhound. Unfortunately for the killers, they not only had you to deal with, but now they had, and I say this
要应付世界上最伟大的侦探，我这么说已经很谦虚了。
Hercule Poirot dropped into the
哎，
midst
可是他也
of
是
their
赫
meticulous
丘
plan.
勒，他也是 H
Multiple
哎，
murderers?
他才是有问题的人
Multiple
嘛。
detectives? Poirot, please take pity on me. Who is linked to this case, and who is not?
My poor friend, I have gone speeding out of the station without you. I will continue.
跟阿姆斯壮绑架案的相关联有9个人需要这个，他不是死掉了吗？这个，哎，按错了，这个啦，1、2、3、4、5、6、7。还有谁啊？洛克也要算吗？8。可是他已经死掉了如果对啦，因为他说有关嘛。
Et voilà. Fräulein Schmidt, Pierre Michel, Monsieur Hardman and Monsieur McQueen are all linked to the Armstrong case. I also know that Sonia Armstrong's sister and godmother, Countess Andreni and Princess Dragomirov, are on this train. And finally, Detective Locke discovered that Mr. Foscarelli was the Armstrong chauffeur.
If we add Detective Locke and Ratchet, of the 12 passengers in that coach, 9 have a connection with the Armstrong case. What next, Poirot? Or should I say, who next?
It is time to summon everyone.
Everyone? Even Dr. Constantine? The train crew other than Michel?
Dr. Constantine, yes. I will need him. But we don't want the others as witnesses.
I will see that their duties keep them occupied elsewhere.
Excellent. I have always thought this moment in a case is much like Rodin unveiling the thinker before a captivated audience. A work of art. Have you not felt that way, Detective?
No, Mr. Poirot. I'm happy just to slap the cuffs on him.
Well, there is some artistry in that as well, I suppose.
Where would you like the unveiling, Poirot? The lounge?
Perfect.
Then I will gather all the passengers in the lounge.
要开久了，可以了吧？可以，应该可以要解开谜题了吧？可是我看他他写说他有13章诶，我这样子会不会太快了？应该现在才第8章吧？到家务仪厅了。哎，这是酒吧。Ladies and gentlemen， 真相只有一个。
Monsieur Bouc, are the train crew locked in their quarters?
Yes, they are.
Then the stage is set for the final act.
最终的舞台。
Ladies and gentlemen, I have gathered you together to hear my reconstruction of the murder of Samuel Edward Ratchet, also known as Cassetti. There is not one, but two possible solutions of the crime. I shall put them both before you, and I shall ask Monsieur Bouc and Dr. Constantine here to judge which solution.
为什么还要人家判断哪个是真？
Mr. Poirot, I am hardly
对啊，是不是想要把锅丢给别人？
Assistance is required.
想把锅丢给别人吼。
Now, you all know the facts of the case. Ratchet was found stabbed to death this morning. He was last known to be alive at 12:37 a.m. last night, when he spoke to the wagon-lit conductor through the door. His watch was found to be badly dented, and it had stopped at 1:15. Dr. Constantine, who examined the body, puts the time of death as having occurred between midnight and 2 in the morning. At half an hour after midnight, as you all know, the train ran into a snowdrift. After that time, it was impossible for anyone to leave the train. So, here is my first theory. The enemy, as Ratchet expected, joined the train at Vinkovsky by the door left open by Captain Arbuthnot and Monsieur McQueen, who had just descended to the platform. He was equipped with a wagon-lit jacket, which he wore over his ordinary clothes, and a pass key which enabled him to gain access to Ratchet's compartment in spite of the doors being locked. Ratchet was under the influence of a sleeping draught. This man stabbed him with great ferocity, 12 wounds in all. He left the compartment through the communicating door to Madame Hubbard's compartment.
Yes, that's so. Scared me half out of my wits.
The murderer thrust the dagger he had used into Mrs. Hubbard's handbag in passing. Without knowing it, he lost a button of his uniform. Then he slipped out of the compartment and along the corridor. He put the uniform jacket into Detective Locke's suitcase to cast suspicion on her. And a few minutes later, dressed in his ordinary clothes, he left the train just before it started off again, using the same means for egress, the door near the dining car.
That is
the first hypothesis. But there's a second. For that, we must examine the motive for the crime. Why was Ratchet killed?
复仇。
The motive is clear. Revenge, of course. Nothing was stolen. And we know that Ratchet had made many enemies.
低头玩手机，不要上传推特啊！
Premeditated crime, meticulously planned.
就说靠背哦。作案计划什么时候产生的？当然是从好几个月前。
Since the kidnapping and death
这段
of little
电影
Daisy
蛮精彩的
Armstrong, which
好想看
traumatized
哦。
many people close to the family. Even when the
靠背要被
police
抓了。
concluded that
靠
it
背
was
犯人是
Suzanne
谁？
Moreau,
谁知道？
questions remained. Detective Locke continued her investigation, as did others.
推文
They
破案
became
输入
convinced
中
the truth lay elsewhere. We now know who the real murderer of Daisy is.
是谁杀了黛西？当然是
It
雷
is
奇特
clear
啊。
now that Daisy's killer was Ratchet, also known as Cassetti and Michael Clark and how many other names. But of course, many of
电
you
影的雷奇特
have
是强
known
尼戴普
this
演的，
for
真
a
假
long
的？
time. It is obvious that the
12道的刀伤
stab
并不是
wounds are
碰巧
not
出
a
现的数
random
字。
number. Dr. Constantine's analysis revealed that some stab wounds appeared to have been caused by a right-handed attacker. Others indicated the knife wielder was left-handed. Some wounds were deep, more than one fatal. Yet others were not much more than mere
有一些
scratches.
不比擦伤身上
Can
来去。
explain these discrepancies. This leads us to an obvious conclusion. They are symbolic.
12道刀伤代表什么？黛西的年龄，美国的陪审团。黛西的年龄吧，黛西12岁吗？不是吧？黛西不是12岁吧？我记得黛西不是很小吗？美国陪审团好了，猜这个。
12 stabs. 12. The same number as a trial jury in the United States. But not just a jury of 12 members condemning him to death, but 12 executioners as well. This self-appointed jury had meticulously planned for everything except
Snow.
snow. The avalanche that stopped us, as
12
well
岁也
as
很
the
小，
presence of not one but
可是
two
美国
detectives
12
on
岁
the
应该已
trail.
经很
They
大了啊
had to improvise, to hastily add clues and false leads.
话说当陪审团是美国人的义务，真的哦。哎，糟糕，他刚才在讲什么？我刚才没……哎，我刚才糟糕，他刚才讲什么？我刚才在看聊天室，哎，哎，やばい，哪里？自己看回放。好，好，等一下我看一下。等一下我看一下，他们遗漏掉的部分。看一下哦。现在我们知道杀害人谁杀害的，对，这个我，12道，好，血，嘿，哦，添加假线索来打乱办案的方向，假线索来打乱办案的方向，假线索是坏掉的表吧？
Time on Ratchet's broken watch was deliberately
直
set
播的好
to
处没错。
conceal the true time of the crime. The conductor's jacket found in Detective Locke's suitcase was put there
哦，真的假的
only to
艾瑞尔
cast
竟然有收
suspicion
过，然后还
upon
有上
her.
网去说老娘不是美国人。
The vial of vaping
哦
liquid
哦，每个其实都要
incriminated
每个都要
Captain Arbuthnot.
讲。
However, he had a solid alibi
啊，怎么办？等一
confirmed
下
by
我
Monsieur
4点多就要
McQueen.
出门了
Impossible
呢。
then to suspect him. This woman in a red kimono does not exist. I don't know which of the passengers it was. It
哦，这
does
是
not
假的。
really matter. It was just a performance, a charade to introduce another possible culprit to muddy the waters. All these false leads were intended for me. But I am Poirot. I understood the truth. We have a train full of suspects. It's time to identify who the real culprits are. Let's start with Detective Locke.
是否是不行啊？他的证据是什么？他被下药了。
Planting the conductor's jacket in her suitcase was an attempt to implicate Detective Locke, but she couldn't fake her drugged condition. Dr. Constantine can testify that the drugged tea incapacitated her for hours, and she had 2 relapses.
哇，总共我每个人都要这样子。
Let's move on to Monsieur McQueen. When I told him about Cassetti, he looked very surprised that I managed to make the connection between him and the Armstrong case. He told me, "But I thought we had..." I think he meant.
我想我们已经把证据都消灭了，我以为凶手已经被逮捕了。我以为凶手已经被逮捕了。可是
You thought you didn't leave any real clues linking the murder to the Armstrong kidnapping. Moreover, you insisted that Ratchet did not speak French when you knew I had heard a voice calling out in French that was supposed to be Ratchet.
每个人都吃他一刀啊！对，每个人都吃。
You took some pleasure in leaving me false clues, I think. It was quite annoying. But you told me yourself that your father was the district attorney who handled the Armstrong case.
The case haunted my father. At first, he believed Suzanne Moreau had helped her boyfriend, Noah, to kidnap Daisy, even though there were questions that went unanswered. And the young policewoman refused to let it go, continuing to find discrepancies, but never enough to reopen the official investigation.
That policewoman sits there. Her name is Joanna Locke.
Then tell him. Tell him how in the end my father believed you, how he resigned a job that he loved, racked with guilt that he may have let that monster go free. He died young, broken, his faith in justice broken. That's what Ratchet did to him.
Thank you for your honesty, Monsieur McQueen. Your father is
one
more victim of the man who called himself Ratchet. Now, I will turn to Ratchet's valet, Monsieur Masterman.
马斯特曼应该没有吧，因为我根本找不到他的理由。
No, Poirot. Remember Ratchet's sleeping pills.
他有欸，他竟然有吃它欸。
Ratchet sensed danger close to him and naturally wanted to stay awake. You gave him sleeping pills without his knowledge. Once he was sound asleep, you could do what you had to do in peace.
Sir, I'll tell you the truth. I was Colonel Armstrong's adjutant.
他是阿姆斯壮上校的副官欸。
I was his valet in New York. I'm afraid I concealed the fact this morning.
大家都不坦诚。
But I knew how suspicious it would look.
Is that all you have to say?
That's all, sir.
Now, to leave no suspicious stone unturned, let us move on to Monsieur Book.
What? Me? A suspicious stone?
布克是我刺的雷气特一刀。是啊，是啊。不是每个人都有刺他一刀吗？好啦，没有啦。公司董事替我在车上找了房间。
Book, my friend, of course you are not guilty. You did everything you could to get me on this train.
对啦。
What madness would cause you to ensure, and I speak with all modesty, that
世
the
界
best
上最伟大的
detective in the world could be present to
这条
witness
鱼就是
your
下集待续。对啊，我4点就要出门，还在这边。
Most assuredly, but a murderer can wear all sorts of masks, including friendship. Let us consider our ever-efficient wagon-lit conducteur, Pierre Michel.
一定有啦。米歇尔的罪嫌的证据是什么？证据就是他对洛
Your
克
admission that you drugged Detective Locke
是
immediately
连要去加班啊
incriminates
，make
The
个把人
murder
加
could
班
not
啊。
have been possible without your very capable assistance. Your knowledge of train procedures made the murder possible, and your position in the corridor of the train allowed you to be the perfect alibi for several passengers. And your motive? Suzanne Moreau, Daisy Armstrong's poor nanny, who was wrongly accused and committed suicide, was your daughter.
C'est un foiré. He got what he deserved. My poor daughter has finally been avenged. My Suzanne. My child.
Let's move on now to Monsieur Hardman, one of 3 detectives on
侦
this
探
train.
之一耶。他是否杀了雷吉特？是啊。
Monsieur Hardman, I think you are a real detective, but you were never hired by Ratchet. Your alibi was that you were watching the corridor to protect Ratchet, which, of course, you never did. You protected Pierre Michel. However, we just saw that his alibi doesn't hold up, so neither.
少喝一点。好，我再少喝一点。没错。
Being Suzanne's fiancé, you had a substantial motive to punish Ratchet. You used your detective skills, just as Detective Locke did, to hunt him down and finally
并为
avenge
自
the
己深爱
death
的
of
人
your
报仇。
beloved.
That's right, Mr. Poirot. I do have some detective skills.
I never doubted it. Now, Fraulein Schmidt, the lady's maid with the soul of a cook.
当然啊，他那么明显。
Fraulein Schmidt, you told me of your remorse for drugging Detective Locke. I believe you are
想想昨
sincere.
天，这几天真的喝太多。
However, as the cook of the Armstrong family, you experienced the drama from within. The death of Daisy, then Sonia Armstrong, who died in childbirth, and finally, Suzanne and John Armstrong.
So much misfortune in that poor family. The death of this criminal is only justice.
Let us move on to Countess Andreni. I was impressed by the earnestness of her husband when he swore to me solemnly on his honor that his wife never left her compartment that night. Should I believe it?
是否刺了雷契特一刀？当然是啊，每个人都是啊。
Even if it seems logical, it's more complicated than that. I believe Countess Andreni.
他没有刺哦，哎呦，他没有刺哦。道德上不会允许自己行凶，没有足够的力气行凶。他是说，道德上不会允许自己行凶，没有足够的力气行凶。道德吧，毕竟她老公是外交官啊。
Countess Andreni, being Sonia Armstrong's sister, you had every reason in the world to want to avenge her. But you were incapable of stabbing someone. even after what he had done to you and your family. The night of the crime, you simply took a sleeping pill. I appreciate the irony that nearby, Detective Locke was also in a drugged sleep. When you awoke, you thought the nightmare was over.
Rudolph?
Hush, my love. Hush.
Excellent transition. I was coming to you, Count Andreny.
他没有吧？
No, no.
他有，
Dreaming.
他有，他有。どうして？啊，他因为他很爱他。
A jury. This was very important to all of you. If Countess Andreny did not stab Ratchet, someone had to take her place. And you, Count, the beloved husband. I've seen how fiercely you love and protect your wife.
Enough! I would do anything for Helena. Anything. Even that.
Yes, even that. Let's move on to
Even
Monsieur
that.
Foscarelli.
他是否刺？他没有吧？他只是个司机，他不需要刺吧？
I do not
为什么
think
司机也要刺？太不合理了吧？司机为什么要刺？他是意大利人，这样对吗？他的最显的证据是他是意大利人。
Detective Locke found out that you were the Armstrong chauffeur, and that you
不是
planned
为
to
什么
travel on
当
the same train
司
at
机
the same
为什
time
么要
as
刺？
Ratchet.
意大利人不喜欢这个游
That
戏，
is
对啊
what made her decide to obtain a ticket as well. Unfortunately, she could not
真
prevent
的是
the
过
murder.
过分了
Have you lost your tongue, Mr. Foscarelli?
Oh,
，Foscarelli
She was the delight of the house.
啊，都是为了小孩报仇
Tonio,。she called me.
Tonio
And she would sit in the car and pretend to drive me.
哦，
And you, Mademoiselle Olson, a champion for the immigrants, a worthy calling.
奥尔森是否刺？没有吧？这个不会有吧？他什么奥尔森小姐也刺了雷契特一刀？不会。赫德本汉的不在场证明。赫伯德太太车门的。
Mademoiselle Olson, you supported Madame Hubbard's story about her connecting door latch.
美国说黑人坏坏
I
哦，
later
政治不正确
demonstrated。to be impossible. So you deliberately lied to me, and you also lied about Mademoiselle Debenham's whereabouts.
Enough! I can't take this anymore. I know what you want from me, Mr. Poirot. Very well. Here it is. She was my little Daisy, my angel, so patient. When I patched a scrape or took a temperature, that was my job.
家庭医
She
生
was
吗？
so much more to me. She was a shining light in an ever-darkening world. I've tried to honor her by caring for children who have lost everything.
Thank you, Mademoiselle Olson. You too shed light on your part in this mystery.
看护
You were Daisy Armstrong's nurse. I will ask you no more questions. It is enough that you have admitted what I know to be the truth, and I understand. Let's move on. Dr. Constantine.
You suspect me? I know none of these people. I didn't know Ratchet either, and I've taken a solemn oath to help people, not murder them.
当然是没有啊！你不要跟我说他有。哦，吓死我！他协助了调查员。
Dr. Constantine was certainly helpful to my investigation, but that does not prove he is innocent.
布克的
You are one of the few people in this room not to have any connection with the Armstrong
太难了
case.
吧？
Moreover, your alibi is confirmed by Monsieur Bouc, whom I would trust with my life.
That is very kindly said, my friend.
We now come to Mademoiselle Debenham and Captain Arbuthnot, whose relationship was not in doubt from the moment I inspected your room at the hotel.
You have a bloody nerve.
啊，你车票不见，我帮你查的耶，凶。不是，那有什么好躲藏的啊？因为他是他的那个吧，他的下属吧。表情，爱人呐、爱人呐、一定是爱人呐、士兵吧？诶，他可以复选哦。哦，不行，士兵吧。
My little grey cells did not let me down. Captain Arbuthnot, you served in the army with John Armstrong. What I don't understand is why a man your age is still a captain. One might expect you to be a colonel as well.
Ever fought in a war, Poirot?
It was war that first brought me to England.
Then you know what it's like. There's a shattering sound, and death, and mistakes, acting on intelligence that proved to be wrong. I sent a patrol to their death. Good men, brave men, wasted. John testified on my behalf at a court-martial. I'm not a colonel. I don't deserve to be, you bloody fool. But I'm also not in prison. John remained my best friend until... There, you have my story. Understand now?
Archie, calm down, please.
You're right, Mary. What you see in me, I don't understand.
Oh, Archie, I see in you what John saw.
Miss Debenham, I'm sorry.
My turn, is it?
I'm afraid so. And you have caused me quite a puzzlement. Your connection with the Armstrong family was not obvious. Then I remembered the job you currently hold.
老师吗？
That's the right answer. You were the teacher of...
德本汉是
No, she was the teacher of Countess
啊？
Andrény.
怎么会？
You were the teacher of Helena Andrény, whose maiden name was Helena Goldenberg before she married Count Andrény.
Yes, absolutely. Why lie to you? She was an excellent student.
Captain Arbuthnot.
是否气是啊，这么明显。麦奎恩先生的证词证明他是军人，电子交友。啊，对，因为他是抽电，不是的，电子烟是那个的啦。他是对啦，是诱导，麦奎恩先生的证词。麦奎恩先生有说什么吗？他是军人，
The fact that he probably killed enemies
这真的是麦奎恩
does not make him a cold-blooded murderer. You had one of the strongest alibis, thanks to Mr. McQueen. But his testimony melted like a snow.
军人偏见，军人不喜欢这个游戏，军人跟意大利人不喜欢这个游戏。
Unless you have another one.
No.
As for you, Mademoiselle
Debenham. 你是否刺了他？应该没有吧？他没有吧
I do not.
你也有。好啊，大家都一人吃一刀啊。阿布斯诺是那个奥尔森小姐。
Mademoiselle Olsen was the only one who could confirm.
不是，凶手是阿塔。
I think you know where you stand.
Very good, Mr. Poirot. Are you satisfied?
I will be soon. Now I must turn to Sonia Armstrong's godmother.
一定有啦，
Princess
公主你一定有啦，一定有。那个小小的，她是左撇子啊。是这个也要跟风，真的是要跟风
given your social position.
I left my social position in a cold country.
Do you object to being addressed as princess?
I deny people the opportunity. It makes a good story to tell their friends. It also guarantees a good table in the best restaurants.
Princess, there is also, forgive me, your
死者到底是得罪整车的人啊。
It does not stop me when I must be strong.
Indeed. Of more importance, though, is the fact that you're the only left-handed person on the train. And the single blow to Ratchet from a left-handed person was very, forgive me, weak.
力道非常弱。
Finally,
就是应该说这个公主是有动机，但她绝对不是杀人的。
I hope you will permit me to say we are much alike.
I am honored. Now it is time to end with Mrs. Hubbard, or should I say...
哈，琳达·亚登，索尼娅·阿姆斯壮，不是啊，索尼娅不是死掉了吗
Linda Arden.
太近了啦！为什么大家？
If Princess Dragomirov hadn't told me about
哦，
her
她是她
relationship
阿布
with
吗
this famous actress, I might not have made the connection. But you are a great actress, madame. Your performance as a flighty, self-involved woman was superb. I never would have guessed something entirely different. As for what ties you to the Armstrong family, it is obvious.
哦，竟然这个比较让我惊讶哎。
That was easy. Mrs. Hubbard, you are the mother of Sonia Armstrong and Mrs. Andreni.
刺疯了吧？琳达·阿登，和雷契特的距离。
Madame Hubbard, you really are a remarkable actress. You put so much effort into your character and into staging the murder. I saw it as a perfect mosaic, each person playing his or her allotted part. So carefully arranged that if suspicion should fall on any one person, the evidence of one
有没
or
有
more
看过
of the
原作？
others would
其实有，
clear
但
the
是很
accused
久很久
person
很
and
久了，
confuse the issue.
我都忘记
Everything
了。
was meticulously
小时候
planned.
看的。
But you hadn't expected that Detective Locke and I would be on this train, and the avalanche would block it on the night of the murder. You had to improvise. But again, improvisation would be another of your skills as an actress. So you came up with the story that the latch on the door that communicated with Ratchet's compartment was hidden by the handbag.
I always fancied myself in comedy parts. That slip about the sponge bag was silly. Shows you should always rehearse properly. You know all about it, Mr. Poirot. You're a very wonderful man, but even you can't quite imagine what it was like. That awful day, I was just crazy with grief. So were the servants. We decided then and there that the sentence of death that Ratchet had escaped had got to be carried out. There were 12 of us, or rather 11. Suzanne's father was over in France, of course. First, we thought we'd draw lots as to who should do it, but in the end we decided on this way. It was the driver, Antonio, who suggested it. Mary worked out all the details later with Hector McQueen. It took a long time to perfect our plan. We first had to track Ratchet down. Hardman managed that in the end. Then we had to try and get Edward and Hector into his employment. Well, we managed that. Then we had a consultation with Suzanne's father. Captain Arbuthnot was very keen on having 12 of us. He seemed to think it made it more orderly. He didn't like the stabbing idea much. But he agreed that it did solve most of our difficulties. Well, Suzanne's father was willing. Suzanne had been his only child. We knew from Hector that Ratchet would be coming back from the east sooner or later, by the Orient Express. With Pierre Michel actually working on that train, the chance was too good to be missed. My daughter's husband had to know, of course, and he insisted on coming on the train with her. Hector wrangled it so that Ratched selected the right day for traveling when Michel would be on duty. And then, at the last minute, you came. For the rest of the story, you worked out everything, Mr. Poirot. You were right about all of us. What are you going to do about it? If it must all come out, can't you lay the blame upon me, and me only? I would have stabbed that man 12 times willingly. It wasn't only that he was responsible for my daughter's death, and her child's, and that of the other child, who might have been alive and happy now. It was more than that. There had been other children kidnapped before Daisy, and there might be others in the future. Society had condemned him. We were only carrying out the sentence, but it's unnecessary to bring all these others into it, all these good, faithful souls.
You are a director of the company, Mr.
想甩锅了是不是？
What do you say?
In my opinion, Poirot, the first theory you put forward was the correct one. Decidedly so. I suggest that is the solution we offer to the police.
我同意。
You agree, Doctor?
Certainly, I agree. As regards the medical evidence, I think that I made one or two fantastic
当然同意啊，不然这边车上11个人，我对12个人我对付不了呢。
My solution before you. I have the honor to retire from the case.
太棒了吧！最喜欢这种了，最喜欢这种。这结局真的是不错呢。谁同意谁反对？我同意，我同意，不然等一下被12个人揍。哦，太赞了吧！不知道洛克小姐感觉心情如何？一讲就走，因为对她知道我要出门了。
I'm sorry to wake you up in the middle of the night, Poirot, but it couldn't wait. There was a detail that bothered me in my preliminary autopsy of Ratched's body. I went back to examine the body and I discovered a wound covered by another. The blow I hadn't seen was delivered by a thinner, sharper blade. So there were not 12.
13个刀伤。
12 stabs for 12 jurors. It doesn't work with 13 wounds. The symmetry is destroyed.
It can't be one of the culprits who stabbed him twice?
Doctor, a different knife was used. There is only one explanation. Somehow, some way, there is a 13th murderer on this train. We must tell Book. The case is not solved.
哦，什么？所以有第3个凶手，第13个凶手。我还想说，哇，这段真的是太不错了。
Please come in. Ah, Book. I see we are moving at last.
Yes. The way was finally cleared while we slept. If all goes well, we will arrive in Venice this evening. The train will be there for several hours for refueling and reprovisioning. What do we do with the 13th murderer? Do you have a lead?
I thought about it. There is one clue that was left aside in my investigation. The diary I found in Ratchet's safe mentioned an appointment in Venice. Someone with the initials A.W. He will never keep the appointment. But there should be enough time. I must try to keep that appointment for him.
哦，雷契特跟，哎呀。Castle， 我都看不懂啊。 这边 AW John Tana Te Kang 什么的，会面地点这个它是 F 哦，什么知道？日期开，我不知道来检查，回去。2月18早上几点？哇，都看无呢，15点嘿。下午3点，日期是18号，威尼斯，是10点哦。我怎么可能？我以为是3点他不是写。voilà。竟然还有凶手那只在最下面。好啦，那真的，我以为今天就结局了，没想到还有，看起来应该还要再继续下去。好，那我们就是只能下一集才能找到了。储存，我都没有储存过哇，我都没有储存过吓死人！幸好没有出代机。不然就 GG 了。好啦，感谢大家，我等下要出门，所以就先到这里啦。好，感谢，大家拜拜。